Have you ever looked around your home, the photo albums, the books you've read a dozen times, the chair that fits your back just right, and asked yourself, what happens if I can't stay here forever? Maybe you've started to wonder whether a nursing home might be the next step. Maybe someone in your family has brought it up gently, with kind eyes and worried voices. Or maybe you're already deep in that decision-making process, weighing safety against freedom, care against control. I've been there, and I can tell you this. The decision to move into a nursing home is one of the biggest life choices you'll ever make in your golden years. It's not something to take lightly. It's not just about where you'll sleep at night. It's about how you'll live each day. In this video, I want to help you avoid 6 of the biggest nursing home mistakes that could quietly steal the best years of your life, your freedom, your joy, your health, and even your identity. These aren't just things I've heard about. These are stories I've lived, seen, and learned from. And I promise you, this advice isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to empower you. Let's begin with the first mistake, one that often comes from a place of love, but can lead to deep regret. The first mistake is letting someone else make the decision for you. Now I understand, when you're in your 70s, 80s, or beyond, your family might feel like they're helping. They want you safe. They want you looked after. But here's the thing. You are the one who has to live with this decision every single day. You are the one who will wake up in that new bed, sit in that unfamiliar chair, and adapt to someone else's routine. So if you let your children, your doctor, or even your closest friend decide for you, you risk waking up one day and realizing that you've given away your voice. I remember a woman named Clara who lived across the hall from me during my early days at the care facility. Her daughter had made all the arrangements. She meant well. She was a nurse, after all, and thought she knew what was best. But Clara hadn't been part of the conversation. She didn't choose the facility. She didn't even pack her own bags. I'll never forget what she whispered to me one morning, her eyes wet with tears. I feel like I was erased. Don't let that happen to you. If you're considering a nursing home, make sure you're the one leading that conversation. Ask the hard questions. Tour the facilities yourself. Take time to decide. Because when you make the choice yourself, you enter that chapter with dignity. And dignity is worth fighting for. Now let's talk about the second mistake. Believing that convenience equals comfort. At first glance, it sounds like a dream. No more cooking, no more laundry. Someone to help you shower, remind you about your pills, and bring your meals to your table. It feels like a reward after a lifetime of hard work. But here's the truth. Comfort isn't about being taken care of. It's about still being able to take care of yourself. The more we outsource our daily lives, the faster we lose the ability to do them at all. It starts small. Maybe you stop making your own tea in the morning. Then you skip your usual walk because someone offers to push you in a wheelchair instead. You tell yourself it's no big deal. But after a few months, your legs feel weaker. Your balance changes. You're not tired because you're old. You're tired because your body misses the rhythm of effort. There was a time when I prided myself on my independence. Not the big things, just the little rituals. I'd sweep the porch, slice fruit for breakfast, tie my shoes the way I liked. But within the first month of moving in, those tiny movements faded. I got used to people doing things for me, and slowly, I forgot how to do them myself. Here's what I learned. Convenience is a trap when it replaces engagement. If you're considering a nursing home, ask, how much will I still be able to do for myself? And more importantly, how much will I be encouraged to keep doing? Because the truth is, the more you move, the more you keep. And the more you keep, the longer you stay strong, sharp, and free. Let me pause here and ask, has any of this hit home for you yet? If so, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below with the words, I'm still deciding, if you're in the middle of this journey, or I've been there, if you've already walked this path and have wisdom to share. You never know who your words might help. And if you're finding this helpful so far, go ahead and click the like button. It helps more people like you find this kind of real, honest content. We've talked about the dangers of giving up your decision-making power and the hidden cost of convenience. But there's more, much more. Let's keep going. Now that we've opened the door to some of the hard truths, let's keep walking through it, gently but honestly. Because the third mistake, it's one that creeps in quietly. You won't notice it at first, but over time, it starts to hollow something out from the inside. The third mistake is giving up your sense of purpose. Purpose is one of those things we don't really talk about, especially as we get older. But it's the glue that holds your days together. It's why you get up, why you get dressed, why you care about what happens next. When I moved into the facility, I remember thinking, finally, I can rest. And yes, the rest was real. But after a while, it started to feel like too much rest, like life was just happening around me instead of through me. You see, when you stop doing, you stop feeling needed. When every meal is handed to you, every chore handled, every plan made by someone else, you start to fade a little, not just physically, but emotionally. You begin to wonder, what am I even here for? There was a man named Joe, a retired math teacher, with sharp eyes and a love for crossword puzzles. At first, he spent his mornings in the community room helping others with their puzzles. He loved it. You could see it in the way he smiled when someone finally got the answer right. But one day, a new activities director came in and changed the routine. Crosswords were replaced with bingo. Joe didn't complain. He just stopped showing up. Within weeks, he was spending his mornings in bed, not because he was sick, but because he didn't feel useful anymore. And that's the danger. In a place where everything is done for you, it's easy to lose the things that once made you feel alive. If you're considering a nursing home, ask yourself this: what will give my days meaning? Will you still be able to volunteer, mentor, teach, create? Because rest without purpose eventually becomes emptiness. And that's no way to spend your golden years. Now, let's talk about the fourth mistake, one that's harder to see but just as serious: underestimating how quickly your health can decline when you stop moving. This isn't fear-mongering, it's simple biology. Your muscles don't care if you're 30 or 80, they only know one thing: use it or lose it. Before I moved in, I used to walk around my neighborhood every evening. Not far, just enough to feel the breeze. See the flowers blooming, nod hello to a neighbor. I stretched every morning, did light chores throughout the day. It didn't seem like exercise, but it kept my body alive, mobile, capable. Then I moved in. My meals were brought to me, my laundry was done for me. Even the chairs were closer, the hallways shorter. And I thought, wow, this is comfortable. But within 2 months, I noticed that standing up took more effort. My legs felt heavy, my balance felt off. And I wasn't alone. Across the hall was a woman named Betty, sharp as a tack, full of laughter. But she loved being wheeled around by the aides, said it made her feel pampered. And then one day she fell getting out of bed. Nothing major, but enough to scare her. From that point on, she used a walker, then a wheelchair. Then, she barely left her room. Betty didn't get weaker because of her age. She got weaker because she stopped moving. And in a nursing home, where everything is designed for convenience, it's dangerously easy to become sedentary. If you're planning to move into one, ask, will I still be able to take walks? Will there be activities that keep me physically engaged? And most importantly, will I hold myself accountable to keep moving, even when no one's watching? Because here's something they won't tell you on the tour. Every time you choose ease over effort, you're making a trade. And the longer you make that trade, the harder it is to get back what you've lost. Let me share one more story. There was a gentleman named Raymond, 92, tall, former military. He wasn't the chatty type, but he showed up every morning like clockwork to the walking group. Rain or shine, he said something once that stuck with me. Discipline doesn't end with retirement, it just gets lonelier. And he was right. Staying active in a place designed to make you passive takes real determination. But that determination, it can be the difference between living and just waiting. Before we go on, I want to pause here and ask you, what are you doing today that keeps you moving? Walking, gardening, stretching? If you're watching this and you still have that physical independence, treasure it. Comment below with the word moving if you're committed to keeping your body strong, no matter your age. And if you're finding this video helpful, go ahead and hit the like button. It helps get this message out to more people who truly need to hear it. You might just save someone's independence with a simple click. We've covered 4 critical mistakes so far, each one small enough to go unnoticed at first, but powerful enough to slowly unravel the life you've worked so hard to build. But we're not done yet. There are still 2 more mistakes that, if you're not careful, could rob you of your privacy, your freedom, and your future. Let's keep going, because what I'm about to share next might be the most personal and painful mistake of all. The 5th mistake is surrendering your privacy and dignity without realizing it. Now, I know what you might be thinking. If I need help, I'll ask for it. What's the big deal? But privacy isn't just about whether you can lock a door. It's about being treated like a person, not a patient, not a checklist, not a body in a bed. Let me explain what that really feels like. At home, I could take a bath when I wanted. I could sit in silence, in peace, with no interruptions. I had my own routine, and it gave me a sense of ownership over my life. But once I moved into the nursing home, everything changed. Suddenly, people came in and out of my room without warning. I had a roommate, a kind man, yes, but someone I hadn't chosen. I was no longer alone when I needed to be, and I couldn't speak freely or think clearly without someone nearby. Even the most basic things, getting dressed, using the toilet, brushing my teeth, sometimes required someone's assistance. And let me tell you, asking a stranger to help you clean yourself is one of the hardest things to accept when you've spent your whole life doing it on your own. You think you'll get used to it, that it's temporary, but slowly, something starts to erode inside you. It's not just your privacy, it's your sense of control, your ability to say no and have it respected, your ability to decide how you want to live, not just how you're supposed to be managed. I once spoke to a woman named Teresa, 86, sharp-witted and proud. One morning, an aide came in, cheerful and chipper, and said, "Time for your shower, hun." Teresa looked her square in the eye and said, "I don't want one today." The aide smiled and replied, "We're on a schedule," and that was that. I'll never forget what Teresa told me later that afternoon. They don't mean harm, but when people stop asking you what you want and just start doing things to you, you start feeling invisible. That's the core of it. When your life becomes a routine built by others, you stop feeling seen. So if you're considering a move, ask this of every place you visit. How do they protect privacy? Will I have a say in how I live day to day? Will staff knock and wait? Will I share a room? Will anyone really ask what makes me feel like me? Because if those questions don't have answers, your dignity might be the price you pay for care. Now, let's move to the 6th and final mistake, one that's often overlooked until it's too late. Thinking you can leave whenever you want. This is one of the hardest truths I've had to learn. I walked into the nursing home telling myself it was temporary. "Let's try it," I said. "If I don't like it, I'll go back home." But leaving? That's not as easy as it sounds. First, your physical strength starts to slip. You might not even notice it at first, but after months of not walking as much, not cooking, not managing daily tasks, suddenly, the idea of living alone again feels overwhelming. Then there's the practical side. Maybe your home has been sold. Maybe your kids moved your furniture, donated your things, changed your mailing address. Maybe they even started renting the place out because you weren't using it anyway. By the time you realize the nursing home isn't where you want to be, it might not even be possible to return to the life you had. Your safety net is gone, your options are fewer, and the system isn't built to help you get out. It's built to keep you in. And here's the cruelest part. Even if you're willing to fight to leave, you might not have the energy, the money, or the support to make it happen. I've met people who tried. One woman spent months begging her son to help her leave, only to discover he'd already rented out her home and moved on. This isn't to say everyone will face this, but it's a real risk, and one I wish someone had warned me about. So before you step into a nursing home, ask yourself, do I have a clear exit plan if I want to leave? Will my home still be there? Will someone help me transition back? If you don't have solid answers, pause. Plan. Ask questions. Get it in writing if you need to. Because once you're in, leaving isn't just about walking out the door. It's about reclaiming a life that's slowly been boxed up and put away. Now, if you've made it this far, thank you. I know this wasn't an easy conversation to have, and I want to say this clearly. Not all nursing homes are bad. Some provide loving, respectful, necessary care. For many people, they are the best or only option. There is no shame in needing help. There is no weakness in choosing safety, but I also believe in choosing eyes wide open. The truth is, your golden years should be just that, golden, filled with peace, dignity, purpose, and control. You've earned that. You've lived a life full of lessons and love, struggles and triumphs. You don't deserve to be tucked away. You deserve to live fully for as long as you possibly can. So if you take anything from this video, let it be this. Don't give away your independence too quickly. Ask more questions. Take your time. Explore alternatives, like in-home care, adult day programs, part-time aides. There are more options now than there ever were. Use them. And if you're someone helping a loved one through this decision, slow down. Listen. Involve them. Let them lead the way. Because this is their life, not just another item on your to-do list. Before we go, I'd love to hear from you. What part of today's video stood out the most? Was there a moment that hit home? Leave a comment below. I read every single one. And you never know, your story might be the one that helps someone else feel less alone. If this video helped you or made you think, please give it a like. It really does help spread the message. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a conversation that matters. Here's to living boldly, loving deeply, and choosing freedom every single day. No matter your age, we'll see you in the next video.